gonna be going into this completely script-free. As for the next couple of my videos that you guys will see from my YouTube series. Also, I swear to God, if I see a single YouTube comment commenting on my hair, I will come to your house, find you, and eat your dog. Subscribe! Okay, anyways, the first of my yap today for this particular series is we are gonna be talking about Seele. Now, I'm sure some of you guys may have seen from the Pridewind tier list video, which is going to be this right here. Let me just pull it up. Alright, so you guys might have seen this particular post where, you know, we have a pretty big war video. Honestly, the video is doing extremely well for a channel my size, which is, how is it doing anyways? Oh my god, the wake up call for gacha games. Alright, Tekton's just starting war for fun again. Anyways, yep. Aircron fell off. Absolutely diabolical video. Literally doing better than my guide videos. At this point, why do I even make guides? Why make guides? Just farm drama. Just farm war, right? Honestly, facts. But essentially, a lot of our premier DPS units have unequivocally, horrendibly fell off. Aircron, Jingliu, Seele. Now, we have talked about Jingliu, and we have talked about Aircron. The one unit that I have not yet talked about, and I really actually want to talk about her, I've been thinking about her for a long ass time, it's gonna be this right here. Seele. The first ever DPS to grace us in Honkai Starbucks. Oh my god, is that Grimroll gacha?
Yo, what is up guys? Grim.
Oh my god, Grimroll guys. OG Honkai Starbucks guide maker. He unfortunately retired. Argenti was so fucking mid that it made Grimroll quit. It was all because of Argenti, by the way. Alright, Sarah, it's all Argenti's fault. Well done, Argenti. You killed Grimroll. Alright, anyways, so Seele has been with us for a very long time. And there has been quite a lot of discussions, maybe not particularly for Seele specifically, but we definitely have seen. Okay, first of all, let me fix my goddamn Seele. This is absolutely unacceptable. All right, fantastic. So yeah, Seele has been with us for a very long time, and with the recent update to the tier list, as well as the fact that Super Break has been an extremely prevalent archetype, as well as the fact that facial is just completely bonkers, it really makes us wonder as a community what is going on with the remaining 1.0 DPS. So I mentioned this specifically in my tier list video. Editor, clip out that part where I was talking about Seele's vertical investments and slap it right here. Rank 9, probably Seele. Enemies can only get tankier and tankier. Her core fundamental mechanic is the same, in a sense where as long as you proc Resurgence, you get extra turn, and she as a whole is a very good unit. But there's like a peak where no matter how much more damage you can deal right now, eventually you'll get to a point where you either invest in more idolants or you just can't one-shot things anymore. Or you run sustainers, all that kind of stuff, right? So I feel that because of this resurgence mechanic, she'll have a higher shelf life compared to units like, let's just say, Imbibitor and Jingliu. Because these, okay, we'll talk about them a little bit later. But I think resurgence as a whole is a very good mechanic. And if she can somehow trigger it, she just gives her more, especially at E0. We're not talking about E2 Tail, we're not talking about E1 Jingliu. Just this, I would say that she is not as strong as, because back then you can very easily proc Seele's resurgence, right? Seele back then was very good, and she has been good for a very long time, but it's starting to show where all of the endgame content enemies, they are getting beefier. So there's only a certain point where you can invest in your crit rate gears. You get what I'm saying? Your crit gears can only reach this point, and it can't improve any further. Either you get like E2 Sparkle, E1 Robin, or whatever to make sure she can still proc her resurgence, or she can't proc resurgence and she just falls off. And eventually that day is gonna come, right? 1 year later, I'm pretty sure the mobs in Memory of Chaos, they are gonna be even tankier. And unless you vertically invest in Seele's team, or you get more hyper carry supports that can make her do even more damage, then it just hinges on whether she can or cannot proc the resurgence. So yeah, that is gonna be my take on Seele. Yep. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I was essentially saying this. Seele as a unit, personally for me, in my opinion, if we want to take her best in slot team nowadays, she will not perform up to par. And the reason is very simple. Seele's kit hinges on one thing and one thing only: the trigger of resurgence. And also, can I just say, look at this, guys. Look at our 1.0 DPS. Their skills had a single sentence. Their skills had a single fucking sentence. Now look at our... Let's take a look at our latest DPS, right? Let's take a look at our latest DPS. What is even going on? We have 500,000 sentences for a single kit, right? This is the reason why. Reason number one. Earlier units just unfortunately or fortunately have a very straightforward... Okay, Seele, can you just shut the fuck up for like 5 seconds, please? Thank you. Blade, you are silent. Excellent. Okay, yeah. Seele's kit, unfortunately, you know, for a 1.0, they can't really overtune her that much because she is gonna be a 1.0 DPS. So a kid is very, very straightforward. Being a straightforward kid, it is a little bit hard for her to start to compare with our newer version of DPS, you know, with more fun mechanics, more fun team comps, and generally just have a way higher ceiling. I think from the previous Super Break videos you guys have seen, so if we were to take a consideration of, for example, Seele, right? Her ultimate damage multiplier, it is quite literally 700% of Seele's attack. Seele's ultimate damage is 425. It is almost double of Seele, and not to mention, Seele gets her ultimate almost once every single turn, sometimes even faster if you get her E2, if you run in a follow-up team. Alright, so it is just undeniable with the fact that units that are early on, they will start to, you know, fall off. Especially the DPS, right? If the same thing can be applied to Jingliu, if the same thing can be applied to Aircron, then of course the same thing can be applied to Seele, right? Her kit is very, very straightforward, and it all based on this resurgence talent. If Seele cannot trigger resurgence, she serves zero purpose. And the unfortunate truth with Memory of Chaos is that our, not just elites and bosses, by the way, Hule has like 2.8 million HP. Even our mobs, they are getting more and more in terms of the HP department. Back in the days, a mob had like what, 20,000? 30,000 HP, you press a single skill, you kill them instantly. Nowadays, we have mobs that are getting close to 80,000, 900,000 HP for a fucking mob, guys. A goddamn minion, a random helitro. A random helitro running a goddamn stick has 100,000 HP. So it is just unfortunate that as MOC starts to scale, or not even just MOC, but pretty much the MOC, Pure Friction, APOC, the more they start to scale, Seele is gonna be left behind because there's no way to scale resurgence. It's either you proc it or you don't. There's no like 80% resurgence. There's no like 10% resurgence. You either get resurgence or you don't get resurgence. It is a very one and done black and white kind of thing. So eventually it's gonna reach a point where the enemies will no longer be strong enough, or rather Seele will no longer be strong enough to take down the enemies, specifically mobs, and trigger resurgence. And this is regardless of how strong your relics are, by the way. My Seele, alright, my Seele, I would say her relics are not too shabby, if I can say so myself. Alright, to be fair, 93 crit rate, 186 crit damage, 3k attack. I have been using the same Quantum 4 piece for the past 1 year. I farmed Quantum Domain for 6 months straight, found nothing else. This is my pride and joy, right? I've been using this for my entire life. So to be completely fair, I have not farmed Quantum ever again. Zero improvements for like the past 6-8 months. So there will definitely be a lot better Seeles. We could see like a 95 crit rate, 200 crit damage, maybe even what, 100. Let's just say we have perfect substats, right? 100 crit rate, 200 and I don't know, 20, 30 crit damage. In the grand scheme of things, it will not be enough. And that is a very unfortunate thing that Seele mains have to deal with. Eventually, it's gonna reach a point where even if you reach a theoretical limit of perfect 5-roll crit relic values for all 6 relics, you will eventually reach a ceiling, right? You will eventually reach a ceiling where you just can't be enough anymore. You try your best, but you don't succeed. And this is where the point of my previous rant for a tier list is coming about, which is Seele is a unit that requires vertical investment, yes. Yes, she does, right? You want her to have good relics, but she wants supports they also have vertical investments. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the main point I want to get across this Seele video. Vertical investments on Seele, I personally believe it is not gonna be enough with relics alone. You would need this for your supports, whether be it Sparkle, whether be it Bubbin, whether be it Ranmei. She would need all the help she can get, because when you reach a point where relics are no longer enough, then the only thing that can buff her up is gonna be from her supports. And generally speaking, your supports in terms of relic investment, so let's just take Bubbin for example, right? Okay, or rather Sparkle for example. You could give her like more crit rate, more crit damage, more crit damage and more speed. But the impact of having, let's just say we slap on with another 100% crit damage. So she has 255% crit damage and 164 relic speed. It will definitely improve Seele's damage, but it will be nowhere near as important as compared to having an E2 Sparkle. And this is of course assuming that you have enough for your relics as well, right? Which brings me to the point over here. Vertical investments for units like Seele, in my opinion, if players still want to use that Seele, I personally think it's not that bad of an idea to get a couple of items for supports for Seele. Because think about it this way, guys. Think about it this way, right? People always say X, Y, Z unit fell off, alright? Aircon fell off, Jingliu fell off, Sarah fell off. Oh my god, I'm dead. Seele fell off, right? Seele fell off. But what they don't really realize is it is more like survivorship bias. The Seele mains who gave up on Seele, they will stop using Seele. And the Seele mains who continue to use Seele to achieve exceptional performance, mind you, they will do everything in their power to make their Seele strong again. So while players on one hand, they might be investing in units like Fei Xiao, the brand new 4-up team comp, they might be investing in Super Break, they might be pulling for Rappa, pulling for Sunday, pulling for all that kind of stuff. They are gonna be investing in all these units. Players that want to really sit down and log in to that one archetype, they are gonna have a lot of stellar jades. So they have two options. They either pull for a brand new support that can make their Seele stronger, or they improve on their current supports that already make Seele stronger. So in this case, if you want to get an E2 Sparkle, E6 Sparkle, E6 Robin or whatever, it is gonna make Seele work. An excellent point was brought up by my chat. People that pull for Seele would have definitely felt her value the moment they pull for Seele, especially at version 1.0. Maybe this statement couldn't really be applied to her reruns. I think generally speaking, reruns in honkaistarrail, especially for DPS, they are generally just not worth it. Inclusive of Aircron, by the way. But for players that legit put Seele day one, you would have definitely felt the overwhelming quality of life compared to the previous units we had, which was basically Hook, Danheng, Qingque. So in terms of quality of life, you would have definitely had it for at least like 2 to 3 patches, right? Not to mention, we immediately followed it up with a Lore Chart Silver Wolf. And if anyone had Seele back then, Silver Wolf into a fusion, everyone and their moms were having the time of their lives, Mono Quantum, Force Wheelers implant, because back then we did not have Super Brick, right? So Seele's value on the release, it was already there. So for a unit that, you know, frankly speaking, had her value for, I would say like 5 to 6 patches before Imbibitor and Jingliu showed up, she would have given you guys a lot of value. And I think I said this before in my Zenless Zone 0 Beginner's Guide. You can only ever have one early game. In your entire gacha life experience, there will only ever be one early game. Nowadays, if you start right now, your early game experience probably wouldn't need Seele anymore. You'll run Super Break, you'll run Harmony MC, you get Rap or whatever, you shit on everything, right? But back then, when people were just starting, when you literally had none of those things, on the April of 26, 2023, Seele, it was so comfortable and it made your early game experience as a player so much more valuable. And the OG Honkai style players will know exactly what I'm talking about. The very first Memory of Chaos 10 clears, almost every single one of them, it was done with a Seele. Almost every single one of them have been using Seele for at least the first 2 to 3 Memory of Chaos patches, because they were buffed all of 100 units, right? So yeah. So me personally, I actually don't think, oh my god, I think I'm gonna get cancelled for this. I don't think it's that bad that these units are starting to fall off, because keep in mind, this tier list is taken into consideration where every single unit here is E0 S0. Your entire team comp is E0 S0. So for a strict E0 S0 investment value only, there's very little point in investing in Seele when you could instead invest in units like Facial. So I think this tier list does in fact show the value of a unit, which I believe should be one of, if not the most important reasons behind a tier list, is to let players know, because let's just be real. Most players that look at tier lists, there's only two types of players, right? The one type of players are players that want to seek war. You want to seek war against other communities. My unit is better than your unit. My waifu is better than your waifu. One Firefly is better than Reba. Reba is better than Firefly. There's one type of players. The other type of players that look at tier lists are essentially going to be new players. New players that just enter into a brand new game. Gacha game, whatever game, League of Legends, any game, they will want to, okay, I just started playing this game. Let's see what tier list there are so that I can know which unit should I be investing in. So at one glance, they see this E0 S0 tier list and like, okay, I just started playing the game. At E0, maybe Seele is probably not going to be that worth it compared to, for example, a Facial. If Facial is going to be on banner, right? And I think that it really drives on the point of, if you're starting honkaistarrail now from a fresh slate, all 4-star units, your first 5 stars are fucking Bailu. What are you gonna do? What am I gonna do? You look at the tier list at E0 S0, right? Unless you're a whale, then which that's the case, then you don't really need to look at anything, right? So in this case, you can kind of just see the value of the units that you have in the options and kind of see what balance do we have at the current moment. For gacha games, it is what it is. For other like esports like League of Legends, I think it's tier list. Okay, so for the League of Legends I'm referring to is like this kind of tier list, right? I look at this tier list sometimes just to make me know like who has the highest tier, who has the highest win rate, to make me know what is like in season in terms of like meta, and as well as what is not in season, right? So these are like kind of not gacha games, but the same concept can also be applied to a tier list in a gacha game. So you can kind of just see which unit gives you more value if you were to start the game. So with that regard, I really don't think it's that bad that Seele quote unquote fell off in the tier 1.5, because the truth of the matter is her kit does in fact, I guess if you want to put in compare, she did fall off, right? Comparatively speaking, she will never ever reach the height of a Facial team running the perfect synergy at E0 S0, because even from a multiplier value, she has already lost. At every single corner, she has already lost. The only thing that she could, potentially out damage Facial is if she triggers her resurgence at like every other kill, right? And the only way you can ensure this is to give her a strong enough relic stat or strong enough supports, which basically goes back to my original point of the vertical investments. So I really don't think vertical investments, especially if you're a player that are playing old units, I don't think it's that bad of a thing. I don't think it should be a taboo thing like, oh my god, you're pulling for an E2 Sparkle, kill yourself. What the fuck would you pull for an island for a gacha game? I don't really think it works that way, because you are playing with an older generation of units. If you're someone that wants to make older generation of unit work, and I will do everything in my power to make them work, then sure, go for it. I don't think anyone will discredit, oh my god, you have an E2 Sparkle and therefore you suck at the game or whatever. Whereas the same people who don't pull for E2 Sparkle, they probably would have already moved on to the next new thing, right? We have Repa, we have Facial. And I am literally speaking this from a perspective of a content creator, right? For me, myself, I try to pull for every single unit just so that I can make the content for you guys. But for a normal player like myself, if I were to be, pull for quote-unquote meta, technically, it would be a lot more worth it for me if I just pull for whatever unit MiHoYo releases, because the end game content buffs, it is always tied to the new character that's out. It has been the case every single patch. Now that Red Bar is out, we got a buff with Exo Toughness, and therefore Red Bar is performing super well, even against Hule, right? So if you really only care about endgame, you could just, fuck Idolence and just pull for the next new thing. Whereas players who still want to stick with their units, right? Maybe not just Seele, maybe even DOT, right? Maybe if you play DOT, you want to E2 Kafka, E1 Black Sword. I think that's also completely fair. But today's video, we're just going to be talking about Seele, and that is going to be where I will start to close up this entire video. So in summary, I do believe that Seele is a very heavily vertical investment unit. I do believe that multiplier for multiplier at E0 S0, she has fallen off. But I don't think it's that bad of a thing if you consider the vertical investment required for units like Sparkle, for units like Robin, as compared to, you know, if you don't pull for them, then you pull for the next new thing, which they're also, you know, well within their own rights in terms of power level, right? Me personally, I like Seele. She was the first unit ever in honkaistarrail. Her resurgence mechanic is a very, very fun to play with mechanic. I really, really like the way they designed this. Not like some, you know, super break Lamaus. I really like this resurgence mechanic. And the fact that we can, in fact, potentially limitlessly scale this, because as long as she gets a kill, she gets a turn in a turn-based game, I feel like it will always have quite a bit of an inherent value. Now, the next unit that I'm going to be talking about is going to be none other. But I'll see you guys for the next video. So to wrap up this video, TLDR, Seele, if you love playing Seele, don't let anyone tell you otherwise as to why you shouldn't pull for any items to make her great again, right? If you love using her, go and use her. Meta is temporary. Waifu is for life. Holy fuck, that is so fucking cringe. Someone should. Alright, word of the day is gonna be there. Join Twitch, join YouTube, join Discord, join Twitter. All the best. We'll catch up. See you guys next time. Take care.